Just making sure. Okay, let's get to it now. So in April, there was an announcement that the Microsoft 365 compliance solution is going to get renamed, right? Rebranded. And so now it's Purview, and this announcement kind of talks about a 90-day trial of all the capabilities, and that includes communication compliance, compliance manager, DLP. There's a lot as part of this, but it's all basically being rebranded, right? So you're going to start seeing things in Teams admin, specifically the compliance area, that will then start flipping over to this Purview. The trial, by the way, is available now. You can start doing that right now. You can start utilizing it. And then it's a 90-day, so then understand that it's going to go away, or you decide you're going to upgrade. On the Android side, so we've had on the iOS, we being, I have iOS mobile device. I've had this for, well, 6 months probably at this point, 3 or 4 months, I should say. Here in late April, early May, so right around now, you guys, those who are Android, should be able to download that app from the Google Play Store and be able to access. This means you can browse through all the lists that are available. You can create brand new lists, these even templates that are even up there, and you can even upload data. You can add data to those lists and interact with those lists. Just to understand, to be able to access it, obviously you do need to have a 365 or M365 subscription, and you need to have access to SharePoint and Azure AD credentials to be able to log in and access it. There's also, for the administration side, there's some new Intune policies that are going to be coming out. And if you're utilizing a conditional access policy, there is a little switch there that's automatically going to be required app protection policy. If that is enabled already, you're good. Just keep on going with it. Otherwise, you may have to adjust your Intune conditional access policy. Just make sure you let your end users know. Update any internal documentation for admins as far as getting the app available so that they're able to use it within your organization. All right, so we have an update to SharePoint starting out here. We have a target release that is going on around now to early June, going into standard release mid-June to end of June. So this is the site template history panel. So basically, it's giving us this capability. If there's been other templates that a SharePoint site has used, you're now going to be able to click into that link, and you're going to be able to see when and by who was that site template applied to that SharePoint site. Not that it's going to be happening a lot, at least we hope not, but that will help you understand if something was going on. Why is it looking the way it is now? That helps us understand what happened and who did it at that point. Just make sure you site owners know, because it is scoped to the site owner for that particular SharePoint site. Just make sure that they understand this is possible. So you'll see in their view template history in this section right here, right? So you'll see view history, and then over here you'll be able to actually see that history, who did it and when they applied it. All right, continuing on the SharePoint side of things, there's a new section templates that are available, and basically it gives you the ability beyond the blank section and start actually, building from scratch. It gives you these pre-built templates that you use for these sections. So it's a lot easier. So think of it as just quick design, wham, bam, I got it in there. Now it's ready to go. So it gives us some pre-formatted ones that you'll have that includes some images, includes text in a variety of different locations. The SharePoint page authors are the ones who would have access to this. And you'll see that in that plus section on the left-hand side of the page. Click on that, get that section templates. It's actually another tab in there, as you can see here in this screenshot here, right there, sections and then templates. This way allows me to be able to then see that information pretty quickly and then choose what I want. And then again, it is going to be about 6 different templates that you can choose. The one thing to keep in mind is with the images, all the images are going to have a fixed aspect ratio on them, which you can change that, right? So that no matter what the size of the page, that image will always stay the same. So that fixed aspect type of ratio compared to the page, I should say. These can be deleted. You can manage some pieces to this, but understand, as always, when it comes to this, make sure you get the word out, right? So again, notice late April, early May. So the targeted, if you're in target releases, they are already, you're testing it, you're playing with it. Mid-May to late May. So about now is when everybody else is going to get it from a standard release. All right, let's flip over to Stream. And hopefully you're in the know when it comes to Microsoft Stream that we're kind of in a transition right now. So we have Stream Classic, which most of us who've been in Office 365 remember. That's the next iteration from the Video 365 when that was out there. That Stream Classic is starting to get deprecated to the new Stream experience. And if you're not familiar with that, the new Stream experience is going to be all based off of SharePoint. It's going to be SharePoint and OneDrive where those files are going to be located at. And we've talked about it in previous sessions about some of the updates that are happening to videos that are being stored inside SharePoint and OneDrive. So this is kind of that kind of next iteration because eventually this is going to go away. So because of that, organizations are going to need to really, let the users know this is what we're going to be doing, right? So this particular message is talking about displaying a message in Stream Classic to end users. And so this is rolling out mid-May to late May. And it's a custom banner that you have this ability to go in here and put that information in there that you want to have. When this rolls out, it's going to be turned off by default, right? You have to check the box, turn it on, throw that information that you want to be able to let them know. Please make sure you're doing this. This is, update the information. You can do it by let them have the message that's already in there as the default message, or you can create your own custom one. So two things to this. That's the first piece, right? So that's that custom side of things. The other thing you're going to start seeing, and there's nothing you can do about this, is when you want to be able to upload a new file, it's going to give you the option of doing either the classic stream or the new version, which is then throw it into SharePoint. So, right, so you'll see this image down here, right? So you see the upload to stream here for the classic or upload to stream on SharePoint. This gives you those capabilities from an end user side of things. And there is no on or off on this. This is on. Make sure you're letting your users know about what's going on with this feature and update. Again, mid-May to late May, this is coming out here. Is there a migration tool out now for Stream? Jeff, that's a great question. I haven't seen anything. Michelle, have you run across anything on your end? Because I really haven't seen anything.
Yeah, we've been building it for quite a long time, and it's still under preview right now. I'll send a link in the chat so you can stay updated on it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
And then it looks like, Teresa, will they be able to edit videos using the new Stream? I want to say yes. I'm trying to remember if that feature had come out, but I know we talked about that, where we're able to do some editing of the videos, but I'll find a link for that as well and throw that in there, Teresa. Okay. Let's jump to Viva for a second. So there's adjustments. If you have Viva, you've been utilizing the My Analytics dashboard piece. So this is a website specifically where, as a user, you can go on and get that dashboard of all the things specific to you, right? So we're talking about things like focus, well-being, your network, your collaboration, and meeting insights. And depending upon what you guys have deployed, then you can see specific things. So this is focusing on the settings piece in the dashboard, as well as the briefing email that gets sent out. Okay, so this is happening early May, late June. And so instead of, and again, it's just semantics, but some of your end users are going to say, well, I can't find it anymore. It used to say, and if you notice down here where it says settings, right? So it would used to say config configure settings, now it's just going to say settings. And this is things like if you want to adjust your, your work week, or if you want to be able to adjust your daily briefings when they happen, or even your protect time, that information would be setting in there, right? So keep that in mind. The other thing too is the briefing emails. As you notice, it's sitting in here, but the emails aren't coming from this Microsoft Viva section. It's still coming from the other service, the My Analytics service that's still running behind the scenes. So it's a little bit of separation from the briefing emails, but it still allows you to be able to change the settings for that. This is going to be happening web, iOS, Mac, Android. So you'll see that in all those particular flavors, and update your users so that they know that's where they can adjust the settings. Let's see, Kelly. I think you found a typo on a custom background gallery link. Oh, okay. Pete, you might want to adjust that. So, all right. Let's go to Teams. There's a couple things in Teams happening right now. So Microsoft Teams, there is this, if you guys remember, together mode, right? So that was kind of a, hey, let's all have a picture and let's take a look and see if we're all in the same room type scenario. Well, started here in late May to mid-June for standard and GCC, mid-June to mid-July. If you're an organizer or presenter, you can now enable the together mode for everybody, right? So you literally can set it up, and then all you're going to do is you're going to select together mode for everyone. And all that's going to do, then it's going to have everybody in this meeting. So if I did this in this meeting, everybody would get that together mode on their screen. Now you could switch from together mode to large gallery, right? You can leave it there if you want to. And there is no way to be able to say everybody needs to see together mode. But if you do switch back, it's still there. If you have somebody that's jumping onto the meeting after the fact, they would automatically go into the together mode. And this is rolling out to Teams desktop, whether it be Windows or Mac. So you wouldn't see that in the web version, or you wouldn't see that in the mobile versions out there as well. So make sure you update your organizers and presenters so that they know that they have this option in our meetings. All right, so in the Teams, again, space, just a little bit more on some activities that are happening so I can actually see what's going on from an activity log side of things. So in early May, mid-June, we're going to have an update to the policy operations, specifically getting more enhancements to the activity logs. And this will include any time from an administrative perspective that we're executing any kind of a group policy that's affecting the groups within Teams, right? So we're talking about if I'm using Teams admin or even PowerShell to be able to make those changes inside Teams, right, for my users. So if I'm doing anything that's like a batched activity, or if I'm doing group policy assignments on assignments, those types of things, the activity log will literally then detail that out. So an example that you see here, it's kind of hard to see, but right here it says that activity, it's group policy activity, it says rolling out to users. So literally rolling out that, whatever that happens to be. So it's giving me status updates to what's happening, because part of it is that a lot of these group policies, when being pushed out, sometimes can take up to 24 hours to be able to actually be completed. So it gives us this status to be able to say, oh, where is this at as I'm doing that bulk change, right? So where am I at with that finishing? Just gives us a little bit more data so we know what the heck's going on. And if we have an issue in the middle of it, we can troubleshoot that. So great feature, again, happening here early May to mid-June for all tenants. All right, another Teams, show as now available in Teams meetings. So you know that you have this capability to be able to show where you're at, what you're doing as far as what your activity is with a meeting in general, right, in Outlook. This is actually going into meetings. So starting in late April here, so it already started for some groups and it's going to late June. we're going to have this ability, organizers, when you create a new Teams meeting in Teams, you'll actually have a drop down and show here, right? Show as out of office or show as any of these things here for that particular meeting. As an organizer, you may be the responsible to get it up and running. However, other people may be doing it, right? So just getting it organized versus actually being there. So you can show what you're going to be as far as in the office, out of office, right? So as an RSVP, you also will have this as well. So you'll notice in this screenshot, this is one that's already been done. I go in here and say show as tentative. In this case, I could show as somebody who has already RSVP that I may have to adjust, right? So that's part of what's going on, but it's all in Teams calendar versus we're talking about doing this from an Outlook side of things. Right. Make sure you update your users, training, knowledge system, all that. Make sure that they understand that this change is happening. Right, so those are the regular ones. I wanted to do some quick mentions, and some of these things, you know, they're just small ones. Some of these are kind of big, but they're really, there's not much to talk about them. So let's just brief a couple of these. A couple ones, if you're utilizing Power BI service, that's the Power BI app within the web version, right? Early June to mid-June, you're going to get some changes in the navigation. It's just going to be a lot easier to navigate through all the different reports and dashboards that you may have. Including the fact is we actually have a limit, a hard limit of being able to only see top 12 of the ones either in favorites, recent, or shared sections on that homepage. And I'm talking about the Power BI homepage. In there, you can be able to expand that out to, I don't think they said specifically how many you could see, but you're going to be able to see a lot more of your reports that you have access to at that point. And you can filter by keyword, content type, time, or owner to be able to find the right one that you're looking for. Also, in late May to mid-June, we're going to start seeing more Microsoft project usage data in the Admin Center reports. This is kind of important, especially if you have organizations that are using project, and this will include on-prem, so your desktop version. It will also include the project online client and the web version. So you'll see that data from all three of the different options for Microsoft Project. OneDrive Sync, this is an important one, especially if you have OneDrive Sync sitting out there, and it's all the authentication pieces that happen behind the scenes, right? So what's going to happen is that there's going to be a change starting in mid-June to late July, and it's going to enable that OneDrive Sync app to go faster. And specifically, it's the account sign-in, right? So if the prerequisites are that they have Mac or Windows, really if they have that Azure AD account set up behind the scenes, it will start, which is nice, it'll actually start syncing without having to do it as long as Windows is already signed to that account. As long as Mac has an app that already is signed into that account, it will use that information to get that going behind the scenes and start syncing right away. So the overall signing experience is just getting a rehash, and it's going to be a lot faster for those users. Organizations using the Net Promoter Score. This is a update to some of the visualization, so keep that one in mind, early May to mid-May. This one I've been actually waiting for myself. Get my thing here. The custom banner for emergency calling. This is anybody that's utilizing Teams voice, so using Teams phone to be able to make calls, and maybe you have calling plans, or maybe you, this is the biggest one, if you use a calling plan, you're going to be utilizing some of the features out of the box from Teams. One of them is the emergency or E911 dynamic work from home. And so it basically allows you to be able to set your location depending upon where you're at. So if you're not in the office, you're someplace else, you can say, hey, this is where I'm at. And if you have to make a call through Teams, it will know exactly where to send that information for emergency services. Well, organizations have been waiting to be able to have a custom banner saying, hey, please don't use, example, please don't use Teams to call 911. Please use your mobile phone, right? That kind of stuff you can paste that up there or post that up there, and they will see that. But some limitations, right? 250 characters, have to be succinct, and you can use PowerShell to be able to enable this prior to this date, but it's kind of an important piece that you're looking for. I personally went to my environment, my demo environment. I didn't see it yet, so I would have to use that PowerShell command to be able to do that. Outlook personal bookings page. This is if you've not used bookings. It's a great tool as part of 365. You have this ability to access your personal booking page from the Outlook web. It's outlook.com slash outlook.office.com/book theme, and that will get you to that. Yeah, I had to read, that didn't make sense for a second, but yes, that's the URL for that. And then you'll be able to see your personal booking page that you can then access. I'm finding things like Find Time is using that as part of that. I'm also seeing things like the booking app is using it. So it's kind of a combination of a couple different things. Keep in mind, those who are actually doing anything using safe links, there's going to be an update here early June. It's actually early June, mid-June to November and December. They're adjusting how this works to go directly to more of the tenant allow block list versus the safe links block list. It's just a change in how they're approaching it, change in the service. So just make sure that you're aware of that. Another one, and I think a lot of us who have been SharePoint people for quite a while, finally applauding this, available now. Group ownership governance policy is now out of, basically I should say, is GA. My apologies for that. But basically you can have a policy in there, an ownership governance policy that basically says that if you don't have an owner for a group, then send out an email to all the members of that group. And you can actually put some specifications of how many do you want to send it to, timing, all that stuff, and what that message is. So it allows you to be able to then say, hey guys, no owners, anybody want to step up and take ownership of this particular group, right? So some really good things happening there. Check on the sensitivity labels if you're utilizing those. And then also anonymous user support for live captions in Teams. This has been a sticker for some people as they're coming in and they're anonymous. They are not a authenticated user in Teams meetings, and they were not able to use live captions, which is a big deal, especially from an accessibility perspective. All right, only 3 updates. That is, a date has changed or a timing has changed. So the first one is the iOS new information architecture, just the way they have it displayed and set up in OneDrive web, right? That's changed early March, mid-May. Now it used to be April, mid-April. Enable templates for consumer or commercial users in forms. That date changed. The last date is now going to be mid-May. Actually came up. Usually it's going back. And then finally, the last one is Outlook, the suggested replies expansion. So suggested replies in Outlook gives us the ability to be able to have, you get a message and you have these little boxes that you say, just push the button and it will automatically pop that in there. So that sounds good is something you can click. It will automatically reply, and then you can hit send if you want to. That's being expanded into Danish, Dutch, Norwegian, and Polish for those companies who have those languages that they need to deal with. And then a couple admin actions, of course, if you haven't dealt with IE 11, make sure you do that before June 15th. Please note some of the following ones. There's updates in firewall configurations for Power Automate. That's an important one. Some changes as far as how the name parameter in EXO or Exchange Online is happening, where they're removing, they're changing it so that the name in the properties is going to be the exact same GUID as you see as far as the Exchange Directory object ID. So that's a change. Normally you actually see the user's name in the name. That's going to be adjusted, just to keep that in mind. And then there's an upgrade in V1 Power BI workspace that's happening pretty quick here within the next couple days. Make sure you're available up on that information. And I think that's everything. Again, a lot going on, everybody. So, Michelle, back to you.
Yep.
I think we get all the questions answered. Nice job in there.
I think so.
Yeah.
There's one more. Let's see. For teams, any updates for shared channels and co-organizer? I haven't seen anything on co-organizer. I would say keep monitoring the roadmap. What's really important to note is we've had a lot of feedback from customers, especially because they really need co-organizer, but they need it in a way that will work for them. So I think during our preview, our public preview or our private preview programs, a lot of times we get customer feedback on the roadmap. We may have a date out there that we're going to roll it out, but then that feedback makes us go back and retool that feature. So I know that everyone is being patient, waiting for that. It will be coming out. Keep checking the roadmap, please. And any updates for shared channels? So far, it's still in public preview. So if you're looking to get on shared channels, go into the Teams Admin Center. The way that you can get access is to have the update policy assigned to your user account. And you don't need, and this is really, really important to hopefully help clarify, you do not need to have shared channels enabled with cross-tenant access settings to do that sharing externally, because shared channels, there's two other capabilities, which is when you create a shared channel, you can create a shared channel and bring in internal people who are not in the team themselves, as well as if you are an owner of other teams that you want to bring into that shared channel, you can do so as well. So there's some really great internal use cases to leverage shared channels. And of course, if you want to leverage outside capabilities, you do need to set up your inbound or outbound access settings in that new capability of cross-tenant access settings. So hopefully that helped clarify that. Jake saying it will likely not happen until ignite week. You know, for co-organizer, it's happening. It is absolutely happening
for sure
this summer. Yeah, and shared channels as well going to GA this summer. That's been on the roadmap. But keep the questions coming. We absolutely love to field those. That's kind of our